Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the J Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Nowakowski, and again, joined by two guests today. You know him now because he's been here quite a few times, George Martin.
I never leave the pod.
Nope, never. And this time I'm joined by the last person in 2.5 Hoopers. That is Josh Rhodes. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I know George has kind of made himself comfortable at home over here. So,
yes,
I'm
well,
a main stable here now.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think the viewers kind of like George, so they want to keep him around. I think that's what it is.
Who
I think
doesn't
that's
love
what
me?
it is.
Let's go.
I can give you a list, George, if you would like.
No, we're not going to do that here.
So I'm sure all of you have already heard, but they are both on 2.5 Hoopers along with Jacob Lehman. If you need your basketball fix Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, listen to their podcast on Spotify, and they are also on YouTube now. Correct?
Yes.
we have 2 videos up on YouTube now, so yes.
Yes. Awesome. Alrighty. So today, Josh and George are going to be here. We're going to do a little bit of NBA talk, some NFL news, and your favorite game is back, NFL Jeopardy. And George is back looking for redemption.
Really need to go 2-1.
And Rhodes looking to start off the year perfect. So without further ado, let's get straight on into today's news. So the Lakers played the Trailblazers tonight, and the Lakers ended that 4-game losing streak they had. Dennis Schroeder was back in the lineup, and you could definitely tell there was a difference. I'll start with you, Josh. What were your thoughts on tonight's Lakers game?
Oh, you said it perfectly, Dennis Schroeder. It's just nice to have a contributing body back. It kind of just felt like LeBron and a lot of other guys. Trez actually had a pretty decent stretch with AD out, but just want to mention, because I know George loves talking about the Lakers, so I'm not really used to talking about the Lakers too much, but Portland's dropped 4 in a row now. That's kind of concerning, and I think they're desperately missing their second co-star in CJ McCollum.
Yeah, definitely. George, what were your thoughts on tonight's game?
Definitely better start to finish. I mean, we just had too many games in the past stretches where we go down big and then you kind of get it close within half, and then the third quarter is rough and you just lose it. Defense was a lot better in the second half. I've noticed what we did defending him. We defended Dame like we did in the playoffs in the first round. We sent a lot of doubles and just switched everything else because it was just having anyone else beat us. Dame still had 35, but in the second half he had a lot less. You could definitely tell Schroeder's absence was missed when he was out. It just really helps to have a guy who can penetrate the rim and be the ball handler. And it just helped LeBron and a lot of the other role players just play their roles instead of having guys to step up. So it was really nice to see.
Yeah, it was nice. And all the Laker fans freaking out over this 4-game losing streak. I think they can all calm down a little bit. Lakers played a great game. There was one stat that still is, I would like to see it be a lot better, and that is the 3-point shooting. Tonight was 7 of 27, so still not doing great from behind the arc. But I mean, a win's a win, and a win against Portland. The defense looked amazing. And Portland seemed really uncomfortable trying to move the ball. I know I was texting George throughout the game, but like they were just like chucking the ball. They weren't really looking where they were passing it. It caused a lot of turnovers, but Dennis Schroeder, I think everyone knows how big of a role he plays on this team now.
Absolutely. I just had a question because I'm looking at the box score and it says Wes Matthews only played 8 minutes. Has this been like a regular thing, or was this like do you know if this was like a decision they made beforehand?
So yeah, he's been getting a lot more minutes as of late. You know, he was racking up a lot of DNPs, but then we brought him back. I felt that with Schroeder and Caruso was playing really well defensively, KCP was playing well defensively. He was kind of just the odd man out, and
I figured
was getting his minutes
because like Portland's really guard heavy,
and it's not like that his play wasn't needed. I just felt that the rest of the guards were holding it down and doing well, that they didn't need to bring him in almost to break up the good runs they were having.
Yeah, I just saw this. Montrezl Harrell and Caruso both played 30 minutes. I didn't, and hey, it works. And Schroeder, first game back, 31 minutes, 22 points. Like, that is great. That was great to see from Schroeder.
I love giving Caruso more minutes. I think he does, especially come playoff time. Like we saw it last year. Frank Vogel started him in the closing game 6 of the finals, and he's just a ball hawk on defense. Like
George, how many points did Kyle Kuzma have?
Well, he's kind of been nursing an injury, so I don't know if you're like
he only took 5 shots. He only took 5 shots. He had 4 points.
He's been a lot better recently at just playing winning basketball. He had there was one ridiculous pass. He drove, went up, and then like threw it around someone's back to Caruso in the corner for a 3. So he has done a lot less of trying to force shots and being a more complete player.
I will give it to him though. He has stepped up a lot more than I thought he would with the AD absence. So
yeah, I totally agree. And also, one thing that he has done, and again, me and George have talked about this, that man crashes the offensive glass, and he is really damn good at it. Like, he has found a different role with this team, and he is doing an excellent job with it, in my opinion. And again, tonight, 15 offensive rebounds for the Lakers. It seems to be a strength of theirs, and they're missing Anthony Davis. Like, I don't even want to know what the offensive rebound numbers will be once AD comes back, and with the way Kuzma's been playing, and this offense could be really good.
One last thing I'll add, because I mean Dame's been playing incredible just since CJ and Nurk have been out, but 13 bench points is just not. I mean, Nurk puts up 35, you almost lose by double digits because your bench isn't helping you out, and Melo didn't really have a Carmelo Anthony type game, so. Especially in this losing streak, they need really good production out of those guys, or else it could get really bad really quick.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, anything lastly you want to add about this game?
No, I think we covered most of it.
All right, well, we'll get to your favorite GM in the league now. That's Danny Ainge of the Boston Celtics. And I'm never living that one down when I heard that. Anyway, Boston, so they did get the win today. They took down Indiana 118-112. But before that, they were on a pretty bad losing streak, and things do not seem to be well in Boston. They did beat Indiana, like I said. Josh, I'll start with you again. What's the move that Boston needs to make before the trade deadline?
Well, this is actually, I kind of caught this a little bit later than I would have liked. First of all, would like to clarify, Danny Ainge is not my favorite GM. I just talk him up a little bit more than the rest of us here. But a lot of what's wrong is not only the Marcus Smart issue, and we can always talk about it, but I think there's a little bit of a deep-rooted problem in their superstars, because I was looking at, I believe it was, I took one out of George's book, I believe it was Twitter, and I heard somebody say a deep-rooted problem in Boston is that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum aren't creators for anybody else on the court. They're just creators for themselves. And then I spent a little bit of today kind of just watching their highlights and kind of just seeing, and it kind of shows if they're not on their A game, like 100%, they're kind of almost out of it. And even when they are, they're already missing these pieces. Like watching Daniel Tice try to guard centers is horrific. Kemba Walker doesn't know how to shoot over 50% anymore, and they're missing their best defensive player. So there's a lot of issues there. So if they're not playing like A+ tier games shooting wise, they're already out of most of the games. I think they need a playmaker. Peyton Pritchard looks really good off the bench, but he still needs a couple more years. Lehman on our pod said that George Hill is a good name, and I think they just need somebody to play make a little bit more than Kemba does, because Kemba's always been like a score first guard, and it's not his fault. He came into the league like that, so he's always just kind of adapted to that, and it's kind of hard to psych yourself out of that once you come into the league as a score first guard. So I feel like they need another playmaker for other players, and they just need Marcus Smart back.
Yeah, I agree. George, what does Boston need? What's the move they need to make?
So Josh brought up a good point about the Brown Tatum thing. I saw a quote. I can't find it right now. I wanted to read it off, but I guess I can't. One thing that I have noticed is Tatum's really been struggling, and he did get COVID, and I have seen interviews of him saying like how much it kicked him in the ass. Like at some points it's really hard for him to even get up the court. So I'm not going to fully blame it on that, because a lot of people have been dealing with it, but it is an issue for him. We've talked about it on this pod, on our pod, the center. I think that's a really big thing they need to address. And because I mean, they have Thompson and Tice that can play backup. I feel like if they bring in a starting caliber, someone who's actually over 6'11", it would really help him. Just Kemba played a great game tonight. You hope that he can keep it going, and maybe he's finally getting the rust off. Smart, maybe he was more of an integral piece than we thought. A lot of people kind of just thought he was a role player, but we know he brings that defensive intensity.
No.
So, I mean, really, especially in the East, I feel like a lot of these teams, we're going to see their true selves come post All-Star break. Is usually when teams start ramping up anyways. So as long as they're, not falling completely out, which is hard to do in the East regardless, I don't think it's a huge time to panic right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if only there were a center that is on the trade block. Oh my goodness. Who could they trade for? Man, Josh, I need to, will Danny Ainge pull the trigger on Andre Drummond, or is he going to end up going to like Toronto or a buyout? Like, is he going to be a Boston Celtic, or is he going to be somewhere else?
He's getting pressured. And I've said this multiple times on their podcast. It just sounds right that I'm going to be watching the playoffs and I'm just going to hear Andre Drummond starting at center for the Boston Celtics. I feel like he will. Boston's a very heavy win culture. And it's like, it seems like they have the pieces. They were 2 games away from making the NBA finals last year. So, and now to see them go like into like the big fluctuation tornado that is the middle of the Eastern Conference, there's a lot of pressure. And there's always been a lot of pressure, I think now more than ever. So if the price is right, which for Danny Ainge is very, very, very skim, I think that he will pull the trigger. I think he has enough pieces for it. And I feel like now he's starting to figure out who actually contributes on a nightly basis and who doesn't, who's just kind of a filler. And, Cleveland's not asking for much. They're asking for like fish sticks at this point. So,
yeah. George, does Drummond end up in Boston, or does he end up somewhere else?
I'm going to go against myself because I'm always the Danny Ainge will never make a move. But I do think he feels a little bit desperate, especially with that quote that said, this team is just not good. And like what he said, self-awareness is really key. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, he sees it finally. So he knows he can't really blame it on anything else besides the roster construction. So it's in his hands to make the team better, so until then we'll see.
His star player looks better in a Subway sandwich commercial than he does on the court right now. So yeah, Danny Ainge is
my sandwich has bacon.
I will. Yeah, we've talked about how packed the East is. Here's just a reference for how it is. The number 4 seed Raptors are 17-17. Seeds 5 through 10 are all within a half game of each other. 5 through 10, half a game.
Yeah, George, I was looking at that.
Hey, who's number 5?
Miami. 5? We were talking about Miami being 10th last night.
Just wait till this pod on Sunday. I told you. What was my look ahead game? Heat versus Jazz, and who won?
All right, calm down, buddy. In a week they could be out of the play-in. So
I hope they win on Sunday, because then it's just gonna make the pod awkward again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another team that's risen, Toronto, they're the 4th seed now. They were like the 10th seed of a week ago as well, and all of a sudden they are the number 4 seed and would be hosting a home playoff series right now. And I think Toronto will make a move, probably more like a PJ Tucker role player. I see them making.
Every contender wants PJ Tucker.
Yeah, and I feel, and we know the GM in Toronto, how he works, and he is always okay with change, and he's always wanting to pull the trigger, unlike Josh's guy, Danny Ainge. Sorry, I have to throw in those shots.
No, it is absolutely fine. I will have to stand by Danny Ainge for as long as I live.
We gotta get this tag off Josh, man. We gotta get it off him.
Well, okay, so if Drummond goes to Boston, I think we can stop the Danny Ainge banter just a little bit.
I think it'll stop when he gets the courage to trade Kemba Walker or tell Kemba Walker he's not producing. I think that does it.
Does anyone want Kemba?
Kemba, seriously. Kemba dropped 32 tonight, shot 10 of 19. I mean, I would love to see him in a uniform other than Boston, because he is still my favorite player in the NBA, and I will buy his jersey from any team other than the Clippers and Boston. So
All right.
Anywhere but there he can go, and I'll buy that jersey. But do you see them even making that sort of move, trading Kemba?
I mean, I have faith for Danny Ainge, but no way.
George,
They
I feel,
won't get a
you
good
agree?
one.
I feel like it's more of who is gonna willingly take on his contract at this point, because I don't know if many teams will have faith. And like I just said a few minutes ago, we'll see how he progresses. But if he still is at inconsistent play, I don't know if many suitors are gonna take that contract.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair enough. I will agree. He does need to produce to maybe get a little bit more value. But other than that, is there any other trade rumors, trade talk? I know, George, you are never caught lacking on Twitter. And are there any trade rumors that you've been seeing or things that have piqued your interest?
We just discussed this on our pod on today's episode that dropped, but Kyle Lowry has been a name to strike up, and I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Sixers. I know Josh loves it, but I mean it'll be interesting because I know Toronto loves him, but obviously Masai hasn't been the one to be hesitant with trades. I mean, he sent Toronto's lover boy, not Drake, but he sent DeMar right to San Antonio for Kawhi, and they want a chip. And yeah, so that trade is probably going to interest me. Josh thought that Kyle Lowry was going to be traded by last night when we were recording.
Okay, so to be fair, I am caught lacking on social media. So when people start saying the word finalizing, my brain kind of goes into a little bit of a spiral. George is kind of used to that. So I heard the Kyle Lowry rumors, so I looked it up, and then people were saying, "Oh, the deal is being finalized already," and it kind of blew my mind a bit. But no, George is right. I really like that Kyle Lowry trade. I don't know why Lehman didn't like it, but I think that Ben Simmons playing power forward was a nice experiment we didn't get to see too much of in the bubble, but the very small sample size, it looked good. And we saw in 2018 when they had another primary ball handler in Jimmy Butler, it still worked wonders for them because Jimmy could kind of create for other people. And I feel like Kyle Lowry brings that same intensity, although not as much defensively, but rather just the character and IQ.
Yeah. George, just because I haven't done a lot of reading on Kyle Lowry to Philadelphia, what kind of return would Toronto be getting?
So in the article I saw, it was an expiring contract, picks. Josh, you remember the third? I said it on the pod last night. Was it just young asset?
I came up with a package. Fun fact.
You did, yeah.
Let's hear it. What was your package?
So my package was Danny Green, who fits the veteran contract.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton, or Matisse Thybulle, one of those three as a young player, and then a first round pick. That's the three.
Okay.
Those were the three things they were asking for. And I feel like it would probably be Tyrese Maxey that has to go because, guard for guard. But
yeah, I think that honestly, if I'm like looking at that from Toronto's standpoint, I would definitely be okay making that move.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing back Danny Green, and he did. I mean, he did in the finals.
He was on a finals team.
He was on the final, yeah. But you're gonna get a young guard, and you're gonna get a first round pick. If that's the deal, I would be okay with that. If I'm Toronto, I'd be okay letting go of Lowry. Would you like that deal for Toronto's standpoint?
Because then Freddie becomes like the sole point guard focus there, and Tyrese Maxey is a good 3-and-D guy. I mean, we've already seen it. He dropped 39 in a game this year, so he can be great defensively. And then next to OG, next to Siakam, Boucher, all those young defensive guys, and with a coach like Nurse, his talents can be maximized. So yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're gonna move from trade rumors from one league to another. The NFL. Man, the Russell Wilson talk. So I was listening live on the Dan Patrick show when that kind of whole thing happened, where he said he was like, "Oh, I would love to be more part of the front office of the organization." And then he has been on the Dan Patrick show before, and he always says "Go Hawks" at the end of his interviews. It's always "Go Hawks." And I don't know if they cut him off early, but there was no "Go Hawks" whatsoever in that. And then it was like, oh, he's upset. And then rumors started kind of starting yesterday and today, and with him storming out of a meeting about personnel and stuff. And then this was a report from, where is it? Jeremy Fowler. He said this on Get Up today. He says several high-ranking people I've spoken to believe a Russell Wilson trade is an inevitability. Maybe not this offseason, but next offseason, because of the growing tension that isn't right now. It's been a couple of years. So I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on Russell Wilson not wearing a Seahawks uniform potentially. I'll start with you, George.
That would just break my mind because I can't envision him being somewhere else. But his frustrations are definitely warranted. He has been not protected at all. I've actually seen some Seahawks fans on Twitter calling for Pete Carroll's neck. Like they want him fired before anything else happens, which is interesting.
His offense is outdated.
Yeah, they say the game's passed him up, and they traded for a safety. They gave up first, and they paid him and Jamal Adams. So it's like Russ kind of felt betrayed. It's like the same thing with Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay. Yeah. It's, you didn't give me offensive help, and then you paid money, you lost assets. Do I think he ends up getting traded? I'm going to go with no. I feel like it's a lot different from the Deshaun situation because he has loyalty. He has really good ties with that organization. And I don't think he's the one to just run up and quit on them. I feel like he wants to be there for life, and he's going to want to get them to improve for him.
Okay. Josh, what are your thoughts on kind of this Wilson trade rumors going around?
I'll tell you this, Russell Wilson might not want to leave Seattle right now, but his wife surely does. So the trade might happen a little bit quicker than we expect because you keep the woman happy. But no, the trade rumors have been an ongoing thing since they've started to struggle. Like we saw the Legion of Boom, we saw them rise, we saw them fall, we saw the off seasons go practically just be abysmal, and they lost a lot of pieces really quickly. So his frustration is warranted. Yeah. But I just feel like this is just constant stuff that we've talked about. It's a little bit more hidden normally, but I feel like there's so much emphasis now because sports is a little bit more of a focus for a lot more people. So I feel like the rumors are kind of getting blown out of proportion. I would agree with George. I don't think he gets traded unless it's like Seattle goes like 2-14. Like it's really hard for me to see as a 49er fan. It is really hard for me to not be worried about Russell Wilson twice a year. So I think he stays.
Yeah. I think he stays for this offseason, but I mean, next offseason could be something completely different. Right now he is on pace to be the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. And it's going to be by he's going to pass Brett Favre's record within the next 2 to 3 years. And I think, and he's just never had a great offensive line, and he's getting to the age where I feel like he needs a good offensive line because when he was younger, he could scramble and avoid all these sacks and stuff. He's getting older now. His body's probably a bit more fragile. He's going to want that better offensive line.
Let me ask you this, Josh. Do you think, because we have seen this recently, Andrew Luck being the better example, would you think that there's a better chance of Wilson retiring or getting traded?
Getting traded. I don't think he'll retire. I think what'll happen is if Seattle starts out slow, Pete Carroll will be gone in Seattle. And if it's just a bad season, Wilson's going to say, I don't care. He's going to pull the Deshaun Watson. I don't care who the new coach is. If you don't get me an offensive line, trade me to a team that has a better offensive line than you. I don't see him retiring abruptly. I don't really see that situation. Andrew Luck he's a special situation just because he's a very different guy. He's a very interesting guy as a player and as a person. He still owns a flip phone. So I think that's a different situation. I could not see Wilson just abruptly retiring.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anything that George add?
No, that was when Josh was bringing that up, I knew where he was going with it about the Andrew Luck thing. I'm like, I didn't think of that, but there's really stark differences. They both didn't have an O-line, but Indy was going nowhere. At least, the Seahawks just won the division. So, I mean, you still have to have faith there. I don't see him just up and leaving unless, like you said, they have an abysmal season next year. And he is 33. I think he's going to be 33 when we start this season. Wow. And I mean, you just look at what Tampa did. They drafted a all-pro right tackle at number 5, Wirfs. They brought in other guys around him. And I mean, if you're Russ, you're like, You got to do that for me. I'm your franchise guy.
Mhm.
You have to protect me.
Yeah, and you got to think about that division he's in. He has Aaron Donald and Nick Bosa 4 times a year. Like, if I don't have an offensive line, I would just be like, I'm injured. I can't play this game. Like, or just be like, get me the hell out of here. Like, honestly, I mean, facing those guys 4 times a year, that's just, I mean, that's Aaron Donald has said it before. He said, I love playing Seattle because they never adjust that offensive line, and he's hit Wilson plenty of times in his career. So I don't think it happens this offseason. Josh, do you see it happening next offseason, or would you say it'd be more likely? Here, I'll ask it this way. More likely Pete Carroll's fired first or Wilson's traded first?
Pete Carroll's fired. They're going to do everything they can to get Russell Wilson to stay.
Okay. George, do you agree?
Agreed. Yep.
Okay. And then I know I did not put this in the podcast notes, but I saw this and wanted to bring it up to you guys. We talked about it, how Deshaun Watson, like, oh, is he really going to sit out? Is he not going to show up? And it very much seems like he is going to sit out. Like, and so many people, he's not going to sit out. He's not going to lose that much money. Like, I think he's fine on money. He's not making minimum wage here. Okay. He's making good enough money. He can do this. Are you, Josh, are you surprised that we are going to see him like sit out mini camp, or did you kind of like when this first started, you're like, no, he'll do it? Or are you kind of surprised at this?
Oh no, I was like, yeah, he'll do it. Like the Texans aren't good. And then we saw them kick JJ Watt to the curb, and I was like, oh yeah, no, the absolute. There's no way he just goes. He just skips and trolleys back into the Houston organization, especially not after what they did to JJ Watt.
Well, and they got rid of like his favorite personal trainer too. They just fired him. They were like, yeah, you're gone too. It's like, cool. Let's just piss him off more. Let's really get him upset. And so before I ask you, George, this is what the report I was reading. Deshaun Watson willing to pay over $3 million in fines in order to not play a snap for the Texans. So,
wow.
Yeah. George, are you surprised that it's going to get to the point where he's going to do this, or no, not really?
No, I've seen players in a lot better situations do this. So fun story. I drafted Le'Veon Bell number 2 overall the season he sat out. And funny enough, Lehman was the first pick. And I'm like, hey, take Le'Veon. Cause I was like half confident. And then he went with, I think that was the year Gurley exploded. So I took Le'Veon. And there was like, it was just like little chat here, little chat there, nothing as insane as this. And the Steelers, I mean, if that was 2017, 2018, they were good. They were, contending in the AFC. And he just sat out the whole season. And ever since then, in any of these situations where a player's threatening, I always believe it. Melvin Gordon did it, Ever since then, I will never be like, oh, I don't see him sitting out. I just say, yeah, he's gonna. And especially with everything Deshaun said and all the stupid moves this organization has made.
Yeah, seriously.
So I don't doubt it at all.
Yeah, they really found a good way to fuck up a franchise. I mean, just seriously, like,
or, it was the sports gods punishing the city of Houston, right, Josh?
Oh yes. They said, oh, the baseball team won't get in trouble. We'll just screw over the football team. James Harden, you're gonna go. Westbrook, you're out of here.
Poor city.
Yeah. They punished the rest of the city for the Astros doing.
George, that's a really interesting point because you brought up the whole Le'Veon Bell thing. That's kind of actually been a recent trend because as far as I can remember, like watching like NFL history, so many players would do that and the front office would just be like, all right. And then the players would eventually crawl their way back by the start of the year. And now we're actually seeing people. I wonder who started that move. It might have been Bell, but yeah.
Bell was definitely like one of the more notable guys because he just had like an incredible season. The Steelers were, I think they probably lost to the Patriots or something. And just out of nowhere, he sat out and that's when Connor went crazy. But with the Melvin Gordon thing, if I'm not mistaken, he came back in like week 4. They just said we're not paying you, and then Austin Eckler went crazy to start the year. That was his
he got a FOMO because Austin Eckler had 8 touchdowns.
So I was right. Yeah. Weeks. So Austin Eckler's going crazy. He's like, maybe I need to come back, and then he ended up going to Denver for like $8 million or something tiny. He completely screwed himself up.
So Gordon came back and he was a fumble machine. I remember that. Like I remember the Vikings played him and he fumbled 3 times separately in that game.
I
And then
think they were at the goal line
yeah.
to lose the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gordon and the Chargers like, you're just not gonna play anymore. You fumble the ball too much, and he ended up getting a decent contract. I think Gordon was a failed experiment only because, and I mean, we know Deshaun Watson, what he's proven. He is not going to be a Melvin Gordon type situation where he's not going to be good wherever he goes. I asked this to you, George, last time I had you and Jacob on the pod, and I want to know if your answer has changed. Is Deshaun Watson traded before week 1 of the season?
I said yes. I'm still, especially with what he said. Well, I mean, it could go two ways. It could either be, okay, he's clearly not going to want to stay and we move him before even preseason or minicamp, or it goes, okay, he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't, you know what? We're going to take our time. We don't care. We're bad. Maybe the front office like knows that it's going to be a rebuilding season. They go, you know what? We'll keep him on the bench for 6 weeks, play our backup. If someone comes along with a good offer, we'll send him. So that's my standpoint. But I would think he gets moved before the first week. So no, my answer hasn't changed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would, because in my opinion, you need to move him when his trade value is at the highest, and the longer he sits out, the less the deals are going to be. Knowing the NFL front offices and knowing that how they work, the deals are going to become less and less the longer this goes on. Josh, I never really got your opinion on this. Do you think Watson's traded before week 1?
I'm actually going to go with no, because of what George said. I think the Houston front office has their feet up and they have a cigarette in their mouth and they're looking at the depth chart and realizing they're going to go 1-15 or something ridiculous like that.
AJ McCarron.
Exactly. So I just think that they're really going to sit down and they're like, all right, he's not going to play like big whoop. I mean, and then I feel like, especially when the season starts, one of the bigger trade teams that he's projected to go to is going to struggle a little bit out the gate, and they might get a little desperate and throw a little bit more than Deshaun Watson's asking prices through the roof, as it should be. But I feel like they might throw in even like a little bit for where it's like a little bit ridiculous. And I think that will happen maybe week 3, week 4. That's my projection for it. Cause teams start to, especially with the recent, not confidence, but recent competition in both of the divisions, our conferences, especially at the bottom. Like we saw week 17, there were like 8 or 9 scenarios where a bunch of different cases of teams were fighting for those playoff spots. I feel like they want a little bit more security. And if they go 0-2 or 1-2, 0-3, they might pull the trigger with a lot more than they need to.
Yeah. And well, I mean, can either of you think of a time where a 25-year-old quarterback in his prime was on the trade block? Right.
Well, especially, yeah. And well, at 25, but as someone is Pro Bowl as good as his caliber, I can't think of it.
Yeah. And I mean, and this is trade. This isn't like a free little.
Drew Brees.
Well, he had the injury though. That's a lot different. Yeah. Nobody knew if he was going to be good again.
Yeah. I see Josh's point though. But I mean,
I'd say Michael Vick, but the whole jail thing. So
dog beater.
Jeez. I guess the last like big name quarterback that was on the board was honestly probably like Kirk Cousins. Honestly, he was like the last like big name guy that was on the board, and he was a free agent. And I don't know. And Deshaun Watson is a lot better than Kirk Cousins. I think everyone in this, even with me and Georgia's Vikings fans, can agree with that.
Wow. I'm kidding.
My God.
I'm kidding. I'm not gonna be stupid.
And I mean, maybe next year it's Dak's turn to be, the big person that
could even be this season.
It could. I don't see it happening this year, because then the Cowboys are screwed because Andy Dalton's a free agent too. So then they're gonna have to.
They got other names besides Andy Dalton.
Gucci Danucci.
God, that man. Yeah, the Cowboys. The Cowboys can roll with Danucci or Prescott. Doesn't matter. They're not winning a Super Bowl anytime soon. But that's just me. So we have one disgruntled Texan who hasn't gotten his wish. One who did and is now a free agent. That is JJ Watt. He is loving his free agency, and he tweeted out, "Free agency is wild, man." Josh, where do you see JJ signing? Because there's a lot of teams that have talked about wanting him.
Well, I think there's only two real teams that have a legitimate chance at signing him, in my opinion, and that would be with the Chicago Bears or the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, obviously, there's a brother right there, and JJ's at near the end of his career, so it's like, why don't I get a couple good years with my brother? He just had a all defensive year. Steelers are looking pretty good. They might do something. I don't know what they'll do, but they'll do something this year. And I think Chicago, it's just because Chicago is just they've always prided themselves in a stout defense. And what better way to go out than play with Khalil Mack? You know, they were fighting the whole decade. Can you imagine if they decided to just team up together for 2021? I think those are the only two teams he might really be considering. There's a lot of other teams, but I feel like in this time in his career right now, it's just, I think winning takes a little bit more of a priority than money or any of the other incentives.
Okay, George.
So the Pittsburgh one makes sense, family ties. I just don't know their cap situation. I thought they were pretty handcuffed. But
with Roethlisberger right now they are.
Yeah, I actually think he might go home and team up with the big bad man from Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. I know it would suck having to face Khalil Mack and JJ Watt.
I'm gonna prove you wrong once you finish your point. I'll prove you wrong real quick.
Maybe they don't have. I gotta look into the cap situation for a lot of teams before NFL free agency hits. But I feel like he's from the state of Wisconsin. Their defense was, I think, top 10, or it was maybe fringe top 10, and just having. Because their defense has kind of been a problem in the last few years with Aaron Rodgers. It got better this year, like I said. But it would be hell having to go from defending JJ Watt to then your defense having to defend Aaron Rodgers. And then I saw a rumor saying Tennessee, which is kind of just like a complete wild card because
they need a pass rusher.
They do, because
Clowney
wasn't as efficient for him. But yeah, that would be interesting. So please prove me wrong, because I want to be proven wrong. Don't want to see him in a Green Bay jersey.
So you kind of said it. It is the cap. He would have to take a real big pay cut to play with Green Bay. And my thought process is, if he's going to take a pay cut to play anywhere, it's going to be with his brothers in Pittsburgh. I could maybe see, a lot of people are saying, oh, Green Bay, but it's like their cap is already really bad and they already need they want to re-sign Aaron Jones. He wants big money. They don't have big money to give him. And then they want to get JJ Watt too. Yeah, so that's where I debunk it is the cap space. He would have to take a pretty nice pay cut. One team that you guys haven't mentioned yet was Buffalo. I thought Buffalo was and because Josh said a winning team, and I was like, okay, Buffalo is a definitely win now team. Add him to that pass rush. Does he want to play in Buffalo? I don't know if anyone knows that.
Imagine seeing Bills Mafia watching JJ Watt play football. He's gonna get a sack, and folding tables are gonna get broken everywhere outside the parking lot. I feel bad for
fun. They might have fun. They might switch Josh Allen and JJ Watt for certain drives and just have JJ Watt throw the ball and Josh Allen come off the defensive line.
Oh, that would be in Buffalo. I would like to see him in Buffalo. Yeah. I know like Arizona was thrown out there because DeAndre Hopkins wanted him there, but I think that's like the very last team that would sign him.
Russell Wilson running from his life, and he has to play JJ Watt, Aaron Donald, and Nick Bosa. In that situation, Josh, he would retire. I think he might retire.
Yeah, that would be when he went like, I demand a trade by Seattle. That's when he demands a trade, as if JJ Watt goes to Arizona. But I think I like the Tennessee idea. I guess the only team I don't like is Green Bay, and that's because I've been born to hate Green Bay for good reason. But I would love to see him in Buffalo. I think that's just a really interesting thought. You guys have all given your opinions, your thoughts on those. We're gonna end the episode. NFL Jeopardy. George coming in. He's got a 1-1 record. He won NBA Jeopardy, lost Laker Jeopardy.
Makes no sense.
And we have Josh Rhodes.
You're the Laker guy, though, right?
That's why it makes no sense. And Lehman is the NBA connoisseur. We flipped. It's weird. It was probably opposite day.
It was. And Josh coming in 0-0, hasn't done this yet. I just want to quick pregame interview. Josh, how are you feeling right now?
A little nervous, but I don't know what kind of history George comes off of, because we'll have to see.
And I tried to make these kind of easy because I knew
you shouldn't have. You should have thrown us in the fire.
Oh, I mean, there's some 500-point questions that are in the fire, and yeah, but I have confidence in you guys and your NFL knowledge. I have confidence in you guys.
I will say though that we will be continuing the tradition that my good friend Lehman started, the go big or go home tradition. We don't play with any. We don't play with any of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go up the stairs technique.
All righty, let me share this to you guys. All right, I just want to make sure you guys can see that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hopefully it translates well, Josh, with the camera. I know you've had problems where it only shows just what the speaker's face.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't know why I did that. I still actually haven't figured that out. I know we did a little test thing and I didn't do anything. So I don't really know how that works. I'm going to do more research later. But
so a little bit of a news flash to the viewers. I didn't start watching NFL until like my sophomore year of high school.
Here we go.
No excuses. No. Until my first
crazy.
year of watching NFL was my first year of fantasy football, which was, I mean, I watched the Super Bowls like casually, but I never invested myself. So I'm only like, a few years deep. I'm a sophomore in college now, so you can do the math.
Okay, all right. That's okay. Hey, it's okay to say, hey, maybe it ain't gonna be our best effort out here. That is totally acceptable and okay to say.
Not setting myself up for an excuse.
Sure, George. So we are going to get this started with I'll have George, you were the last one to play. So I will have you start it out. Where do you want to go?
NFL records for 5. I'm gonna swing for the fences.
Oh,
too.
wow! All right.
Whoa, okay, all right, and
All
just
right.
know you guys can both answer the first question. I know that we had issues on the first.
Josh
attempt.
spotted me some free points though when Lehman played me, but we'll take it.
I did. All right, for 500. Paul Krause holds the record for most interceptions. George, he was a Viking. For most interceptions in a career, how many did he have?
I don't know.
Career?
I don't know
career.
history. I don't know NFL history. I don't know NFL history, man. This is gonna be bad.
Ooh, the career.
Do either of you even want a shot at this?
George, I'll shoot for it if you shoot for it.
Wow.
This has got to be like a balanced effort here.
So, in his career, right?
In his career.
Oh man, I don't even know how much people. I'm just trying to think. 35. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, you went for it.
Okay, so George went for it. Said 35.
Josh, if you don't go for it, oh my god, I'm gonna stab you in the back.
Wait, what if I don't go for it?
All right, Josh, where are you at?
In career interceptions. Well,
that was probably lowballed.
I don't even remember how many he played.
He was
I'm gonna
an
go
old
with
school Viking.
I don't remember how many years he played. I'm gonna guess that he was like a 13, 14 year vet. So I'm gonna go with 63.
I'm like Kobe hitting 81.
Oh,
god damn it!
And I want to say it was like, I think it was Charles Woodson. He got to like 79 in his career. He got close, but yeah, I didn't know that one either. But he was a Viking, so I threw it in there. So
George,
oh no,
very very good that you went for it. 35. I think Richard Sherman has 35 right now.
I was like, okay, how many do they average in a season? I was like, I don't know, 2, 3. I'm like,
oh man.
Historic games 5. This should be a little more smooth sailing.
I hope it is. I don't even remember what I put for this question. Oh geez, good luck, guys. This Rams QB threw for 554 yards in a single game in
Josh, you want to do it again?
1951.
Yes.
Did they toss the pigskin in 1951?
554 yards is an NFL record, actually.
You want to do the same thing? You want to just throw up guesses? Or
yeah,
no?
we can.
All right. Otto Graham Dang it.
That's a Cleveland Brown, George. Oh man, I should have.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
I should have paid more attention to those all-time rosters in Madden 20.
Should have watched more NFL Network. Oh.
NFL films.
Get in the film room.
They had quarterbacks in the 50s.
Oh man.
I can't even think of like a name.
Kurt Warner.
He was a Rams.
Yeah, but thanks, George.
Jared Goff Sr. I don't know.
I genuinely can't think of a name. I just can't. Just give me this.
Who is Norm Van Brocklin?
Who is that?
He's in the Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame.
This final score is going to look horrible. Oh, and to people on Spotify, it's tied up minus
negative 1,000.
Yep. You gotta go you gotta hit the bottom to get your way back
Super
up.
Super Bowl champs 5.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. You guys are really
Someone's got to get this one.
This is just gonna be a number.
Who won the first ever Super Bowl?
Oh,
okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Who I won the first Super Bowl? That would be the Green Bay Packers. Oh, sorry. Was I supposed to wait for you to finish the question?
No. So that George, did you know that?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Chiefs Packers? Of course I knew that.
I don't know if he did.
Okay. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So Josh, you did get it right. George, I'll give you the chance at the bonus though. How about that? 500-point bonus.
I don't know Packers history.
Oh, come on. He is a very known
Alex, I'll make a deal with you. I'll tell you his position for 250.
No, because it's the quarterback, but I gotta think. Was it Bart Starr?
Thank God, George.
Yes.
Good job, you guys. All right. Compromising.
I almost said Roger Staubach. I'm like, wait, no.
No. All right, Josh, you did get the original question right.
Josh,
so
you choose. Yep.
You choose.
All right. So I know you have to say the whole question. I got a little excited. My apologies. First time.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're gonna go with rookie records for 500.
Oh my gosh. Okay. These 500 ones are ridiculously hard. Jeremy Chin did something no rookie or NFL player has done by scoring 2 defensive touchdowns on 2 straight plays. This happened against the Vikings. Who does Jeremy Chin play for? It was Rhodes.
No.
Who is the Carolina Panthers?
The game pissed me off.
Oh. It was Josh. Don't worry. I ain't screwing you over, George. Don't worry.
This is rigged.
Wisconsin Wi-Fi.
Y'all want to see my demise right now. I'm about to go 1-2 because of some.
Let's clear the 500. Let's clear the 500.
All righty. Awards for 5. This Browns player won the first ever MVP in 1957. George,
was it Jim Brown?
Hey. We are back to 0-0, and the 500 questions are gone. George, where do you want to go?
Rookie records for 4.
All righty, Rue. This Colts QB set the record for passing yards in a single game with 433. Rookie record.
Oh.
Josh.
Who is Peyton Manning? Really? Huh.
George, do you want? Okay.
Was it Andrew Luck?
Yes. You're lying. Okay. Do you remember who it was? Do you remember who it was against?
Oh, it's
probably like the Jags.
I think it was like I think it was the Cardinals. Oh, I need to find. I did say like the date and everything.
800-point swing.
It was in September. It was in September, so it was like his 5th game.
Oh, I'm up again.
You are. You did get that right. Yeah.
Super Bowl champs for 100.
Wait till okay. I know this is a hot question. Wait till I finish it. This GOAT took home his 7th Super Bowl this season. I saw George's first.
Wow.
Tom Brady. Oh,
right,
so close, Josh. NFL records for 4.
They got George with the 3-second lag advantage. I'm working.
So before it was,
Chop lettuce.
I was okay. Whatever.
This Broncos QB holds the NFL record for passing touchdowns in a season. Josh.
Say it again, Josh.
That one's Peyton Manning.
I was waiting for George to get it first and say John Elway.
He would have said Tim Tebow.
He's laughing because he knew he would have said it too.
I was going to say Drew Lock. No, I'm kidding.
Future Viking, by the way. Future Viking, by the way.
Let's go historical games. 400.
All righty. This team lit up the scoreboard, scoring a record 72
gosh.
points in a game, and it came against division rival New York Giants.
We have a 1-4 shot. Well,
3 shot.
actually 2 and 3. 2 and 3.
Actually, 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
2 and 3. You mean 1? Way to name all the odds beside the right one, George.
Do you want to take one team and I'll take the other team?
I got it.
Okay.
Go.
Who are the Philadelphia Eagles?
All right, George, you got a 50-50 shot. Do you want to take it or no?
Okay.
Really? You really not about to take this one?
In the history of the NFC East, who has been more dominant?
Oh my God, this
the
guy's
football
really,
team
jeez.
Or the Cowboys? It's gotta be the Dallas Cowboys. Final answer.
Or the Washington Redskins.
I knew he was wrong.
They combined for the highest scoring game ever, winning 72-41.
When were the Washington Redacteds ever good?
Ever heard of Joe Theismann?
His leg broke. He snapped it in half.
But he was different before that.
Wasn't he in the blind side?
No.
My God.
Can he lose points for that one?
Nope.
So currently for the podcasters, Josh negative 400, George has 100.
And we in positive territory.
Who got the lot? That was Josh that got
Josh
the
got
last
it.
question,
Peyton
right?
Manning one, yeah.
We'll hit the Super Bowl champions for 400. I need one of these 400 ones. Otherwise, we're gonna be in.
These two teams have won the most Super Bowls. Josh.
Who are the Steelers and Patriots?
Good job. I expected someone to miss the Steelers on it. I thought they'd say Cowboys or 49ers. Niners have 5.
I know. I know they have 5.
I know
we should have more.
I know the Packers have the most championships, but not Super Bowls.
Yeah, because they was called something else before. Yeah, this is all like NFL. This is after the merger, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
I was really close to saying the Packers.
I almost said Patriots and Packers.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is all after the merger, so.
Okay, good to know.
We'll clean the board. Awards for 400.
Oh my gosh. All righty. Who was the last defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP? George.
Was it Michael Strahan?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh no, wait. Eli won them.
No, wait.
All right,
let me think.
Josh, do you want it?
Let me think. Von
I
Miller.
almost made the.
Dang it!
I almost said Malcolm Smith. I was close.
Okay.
Funny.
Quick story about this one. I almost put in who was the Super Bowl MVP the last time the Seahawks won, because I did not think you guys would remember who the hell Malcolm Smith was.
Oh, I remember Malcolm Smith.
Apparently Rhodes would have got that one, but all right. Josh has taken the lead with 400. George negative 300.
They're making me record
now.
at 1:30 a.m. My brain can't function.
Man, there's a lot of excuses coming over in Wisconsin. Did they teach you that over there?
I said Strahan when Eli won the.
Josh, let's go NFL records 300.
Okay. In 2006, this running back had an incredible 28 rushing touchdowns in a season. That's Rhodes.
Oh shoot. Who is LT?
Oh, that a boy.
I almost said Priest Holmes. I'm mixing up.
LT was a fucking monster.
When was Marshall Faulk in the league?
Ooh.
You
know what, Josh? Let's stick with the NFL records. I feel like that's George's kryptonite. Let me just.
I don't know history. I don't know NFL history, and I'll be the first to say.
This 49ers wide receiver collected 197 touchdowns in his career. Oh, George. Sorry, John. That was George.
It's all right. I'll take it.
Jerry Rice.
Your hand went up before, and then it went up.
I know. I put it down
again.
because I realized.
Good things come to those who wait.
Oh my God. Wisconsin boy, where do you want to go?
You are down 800 points. I don't know what you're waiting for.
Rookie records for 3. Come on, we got to run the board here.
This Rams running back set the rookie record for rushing touchdowns with 18.
There's a lot of Rams.
George.
Oh. Eric Dickerson.
A lot of Rams.
Hey, I was waiting for a Todd Gurley answer.
I'm not that bad. I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. Awards for 3.
Awards for 3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
His leg was almost amputated a few years ago. This year, he won Comeback Player of the Year. Oh my God, that was like simultaneous. Fuck.
George, you want to split it?
I'll agree to a split.
What? We just both get 100? What can you? Okay.
150.
All right.
Say it together.
Alex
Smith.
Why'd you wait for me to
George
say
said it late. I'm only giving him 100. I'm kidding, George.
I literally wouldn't be able to win in that sense.
Okay.
George was like, wasn't sure.
So currently,
did you think I was gonna say Joe Theismann again?
No, I thought you were gonna say like Jimmy Garoppolo, but
we have Josh with 850, George 350. I'll go after the question before that. George, where do you want to go?
Super Bowl champs for 3. I'm getting away from the history for now.
Mm-hmm.
This famous Miami Dolphins QB retired in 1999 and unfortunately never took home a Super Bowl trophy. That one was George.
Dan Marino.
It was George. I know Rhodes.
What?
I know Rhodes.
Oh no, it was not.
Oh, it definitely was.
Did that earthquake affect your Wi-Fi, buddy?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The one I didn't feel.
He's got the advantage.
Super Bowl or fine. Historic games for 3. Let's get it out the way.
I cannot believe that. Okay.
They call him all day for a reason. This running back ran for 296 yards against the Chargers in 2007. Rhodes.
Who is Adrian Peterson?
You don't know Adrian Peterson's nickname is All Day, George? A-D, All Day? Oh, my God. He went off. He turned off his camera. Oh, my gosh. George.
George, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Where do you want to go, Rhodes?
He gave you the Dan Marino one, and you couldn't get that one?
Oh, man.
I felt pity, so yeah, I gave this one to you.
Historic games for 200.
No.
It's so funny. Wait, okay. Before I get this one, I knew when I created that question and said all day, I had a feeling in my head George would go, his nickname's AP, not AD. I just had a feeling that was going to be in his head. But
the Vikings fan.
Yeah.
My history is bad. I'm sorry.
Wait till I finish the question, you two. Who played in the first Super Bowl?
We already said this question, no?
You guys answered it in a different. You guys
my
said
hand is up. My
hand is up.
Who are the Chiefs and who are the Packers?
This is a boatload of bogus. We are
no. Wait, hang on. Wait, let's rephrase. What was the question? Who won the first Super Bowl? Not who played.
I said the answer. So hypothetically, I should get points.
You lose, George.
I said it earlier. This is barnacles. I'm getting cheated out. I think I lost. I got to run the table, but I lost.
Super Bowl champions for 200.
Just run the table, George.
Gauntlet time.
These are the only 2 QBs to win Super Bowls with 2 different teams. That one was George.
Manning and Brady.
Good job, buddy.
Oh, Josh. You feel
he gets one question right and he gets so cocky.
I'm a front runner.
I'm
a front runner. I'm a front runner. Rookie records for 2.
Which one?
Rookie records for 2.
Oh, okay. Who had the most receiving yards in a rookie season? George.
The Rob's Rookie of the Year.
I know.
Jetta's 2.
Yeah, that's Justin Jefferson.
Oh, Josh. It seems.
Oh my God.
I'm just lagging. I gotta start raising my hand earlier.
Awards for 2.
Awards for 2. Okay. Currently score Josh 1,350, George 1,050. And there are not a lot of points left on the board. This is a big question. This player has won a record 5 MVPs in his career.
5?
5 regular season MVPs.
I just don't want to get it wrong.
George
I just
has
don't want to get it
no
wrong.
idea.
Oh, come on.
Really?
Look
There's
it
like
up.
two answers. There's like two answers. There's like two.
You know what?
Oh my God. Are you guys going to take this?
No,
George, just take it, man.
I effectively lose if I BS this.
That is
But-
true.
But if you get it, you're closer.
Technically, I let you go, and I don't feel shame if you knew it because I really don't know it. And if you don't,
I'm gonna
get
guess. I'm gonna guess.
Okay. All right.
Peyton Manning.
Who is
Nice.
Peyton Manning?
Oh, that's game. I think that's game.
I just couldn't remember
mean, if
how
he
many.
gets-
that's
MVPs.
game. That's game.
Yeah. It's okay.
We'll
Keep it going.
Go ahead,
we'll still
George.
do it.
Go
We'll still-
ahead. Go ahead, George. Run the board.
Still do it for pity. 5. Wow.
All
Big-
right,
big
Josh. What
forehead
do you
guy.
want?
The 5
Let's
head
see.
guy has 5 MVPs. That's good to know.
NFL records for 100.
George won't be answering this question, apparently.
No, I won't.
He's got it.
This line's wide receiver set a record with over 1,900 receiving yards in a season.
You got it, George.
George,
got it.
Megatron,
what's his actual name?
Calvin Johnson.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't know him by Megatron only.
Do you guys think I'm like a super casual NFL fan? I said I don't know anything past.
No,
like,
no, no, no,
You
no, no,
did
no.
say- you
It's a
did
valid
say
question.
sophomore.
I mean, okay.
sophomore
I
year.
mean, when you think Chad Ochocinco, like for a while, I didn't know his last name was Johnson. I just thought his
Fair,
last name was
fair,
I mean,
fair.
So I was just asking. No
Okay.
hate, George.
No
hate.
disrespect. Sorry, I'm just a little bit mad that Josh is gonna take this W.
Serious. Whew. All right, George. Where do you want to go?
Awards for 100.
He was the defensive rookie of the year this year. George.
Chase Young. He's really letting me get back.
He sounds so sad.
Rookie records for 1.
Oh, you got this one.
Justin Herbert set the rookie record for passing TDs in the season, but who held
He
the record
doesn't know it.
before?
Ooh, I
doesn't-
actually don't. Wait.
George.
It was Baker.
Thank God. He almost said, I actually don't know this.
When I assumed it was
More
gonna be
George.
I assumed it was gonna be about Herbert. I thought you were just gonna say who said it, not who said it
Mm.
before.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
no. Herbert's too easy. The Patriots were on their way to a perfect season until they ran into this team in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
George.
Eli Manning and the Giants.
Alrighty, so that is going to be a wrap on NFL Jeopardy. Final score here. Josh Rhodes 1,550, George Martin 1,450. This by far was the closest
It's a
game.
Good game, Josh.
It was, yeah, good game,
Good
you
game, George.
guys. A great effort. First, winner circle. Rhodes, how does it feel to start off the Jeopardy 1-0?
Well, the score might not show how confident we
There
were
we go,
going
front
into
running.
it, but George looked at the 500 questions with some big crazy eyes. So
George, you've dropped 2 straight. What's going on in your head right now, man?
Well, I mean, to be optimistic, I'm more proud of my performance this time. I know I had a lot of blunders, but that Lakers one, I was just sitting there like,
George, I will admit that I will tell you this though. As much as you want to call yourself a Vikings fan, that Adrian Peterson question would have won you the game. And I will sleep happy knowing that.
hey,
Oh
hey,
my
Josh,
goodness. Oh my gosh.
get the Office reference.
Oh, all righty, you guys. It has been an
I'm
honor
pretty sure that's
having-
Friends, George, not The Office.
yeah,
Oh,
that one was from
no.
Friends. Oh,
Minus
George
300.
embarrasses himself one more time before we end the
This
podcast.
is why I'm the
We were
half
so
hooper,
close.
buddy.
Yes, this is another reason why he is the half hooper. I want to thank you guys for joining my podcast today. I can't wait to have you guys on again. And we're going to keep these Jeopardy games up because we're going to get the standings and records. We're going to get down to all of that later on. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, George, for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Can't wait till next
Thank you.
time.
Thank you, Josh. It was fun
Of
again.
course. And until next time, everyone, this has been Joshua Nokowski of the J Sports Podcast. Peace.